Right. So it's all right talking about all this stuff that that we're saying, but how are we going to get it done? So we need time to get things done, don't we? Because all the things that I'm talking to you about here, we're talking about money again, and we're looking at stuff like that. But what is the thing that we really can't trade? We can't really, um, money. We can lose money and get it back. Yeah, we can't waste time and get it back. And I know as well as you do, and some of you will be sat there going, I need to be further on. I could have been further on by now. I'm not. And the biggest reason why you're not is because you've wasted time. Okay, there will be other things in there. There'll be lack of belief. There'll be worrying about shit you don't need to worry about. There'll be other people influencing you that you don't need influencing you, that you're letting influence you. There'll be distractions. But the ultimate penny drop with all these things is that time just gets wasted. It does not go in the right areas. So what we must master as successful people, period, whether you're doing anything in life, you've got to get good at skills. You've got to learn skills. And I always say to people about this particular academy venture is do you know what's funny is that some of you in a few years' time are going to look back and go, fucking hell, that was actually easy. The amount of overthinking that people do is ridiculous, around not putting stuff on the website. Oh, I'm worried about this. I don't know what it is. I don't know why we let so much time elapse and we think so much about stuff. But if we've got the will to act, which is, probably the first thing we need to sort of get done. But if we're willing to do stuff, then we've got to make sure that the time we have available to do it is used properly. So what we're going to cover is 6 strategies plus 3 bonus strategies, so 9. So as we move through these, I want you to think. I will put some notes in the WhatsApp group, and again, this content will be in the Academy in the Business Resources section as well. But let's start with number 1. So the first thing we need to do. The first thing that we need to do is we need to block out time. Yeah. So one thing that I want to sort of quickly show you, and I can put this in the business resources section. It isn't very sexy at all, but it's just a piece of paper with time blocks on. Yeah. So every day, this is what I work on basically. I have my stuff on here that I work through every day, and I normally on a Sunday plan the main bits that I need to get done. Usually on a list, and then what I do is on the list, I move the list onto here and I go, right, I'll do that tomorrow, because I do change things sometimes at the last minute, quite annoyingly to myself, but that's a habit that I've got. But I manage the habit, I make sure it gets done. But creating the time blocks on here. So what I have, I can put this in the business resources section for you, so you can download this. I'll give you a template. There's probably something in there already in the 12 steps. But I've got the morning session. So morning, then I take my son to school. Couple of sessions there, lunch, couple of sessions, 3 sessions. So my last session is 7 till 8:30 at night. Yeah, all right. Sometimes I don't do them because now I'm on alive and sort of things. But the point being is that I've got all these 90-minute slots throughout the whole week, and that's how I manage my time. So I do everything in 90-minute slots generally. So what we need to do is but this is a concept that we need to do. We need to. This is why I always say on the Sunday night or Sunday morning, plan your week ahead. Give your brain the illusion of control. If your brain thinks it's got a plan, it'll be a lot happier. This is why some of you get into the week and you get to Tuesday, Wednesday, and you're like, oh, I haven't done this, I haven't done that. And fuck it, I'll start Monday. But you don't, so you've got to get to Sunday and go, right, next week I'm going to do this. What you then do is give your brain psychologically the illusion of control. So your brain thinks, oh, we've got a plan, great, so I'm in control. The ego is happy now because we have control of our destiny. Do we fuck? But we think we do. So the point is, when we get into the week, when things change, you go, oh shit, my plan's not working. We see it as a pivot and not as a disaster. Whereas if we don't have a plan to start with, it's just a disaster. So what we need to do is we need to time block. So dedicate specific time blocks to key tasks, quoting, site visits, admin, etc., stuff like that. The stuff that's in your scorecard. So treat the blocks as non-negotiable. No calls, no distractions, just the tasks in front of you. This creates structure and prevents reactive chaos. So again, it's making sure on the Sunday that you've time blocked everything. So number one is to time block everything. So if you know next week your scorecard's telling you, I need to do these things, I need to do a blog, I need to do a case study, I need to do this. You've got your daily tasks as well. But on your weekly, in the 12 steps, if you go to your weekly and monthly to-do lists, then you can use your blocks of time to get things done and stick to them. So that's number one, make sure you're time blocking. Number two is setting boundaries and saying no. So you need to protect your time by being ruthless with what you agree to. Say no to to non-essential meetings, favors and mate jobs and distractions. If something doesn't take you forwards, you need to think really hard about doing it. And, because you don't owe everybody your time. Think about time. Like you can give someone a tenner and they might not give it you back. All right, whatever. But when you've been robbed of an hour of your life, that's not coming back. And that sounds really bad, but it's not bad because this is your life. And I think that as humans, we waste time. Like we think, and I've said this at events and other times, especially tradespeople for some reason. I don't know why, but I think tradespeople, for when I speak to them, they think they're going to be alive for about 500 years because like the times in between doing things are just huge. And it's like, where's the urgency here? Where is the urgency? Like, why do you think that we've got another 12 months to do this thing when it needs to be done now? This life plan that we've got is like, that grave is screeching towards us, every day, and I know that's like morbid, but it's true. We get old quickly and, we haven't got time to piss around. So, making sure that you set boundaries and say no. If somebody isn't, I call it time thieves, and I can talk and I can time thieve people sometimes, and that's, part of it. But you've got to be very controlled with this. And again, look at what you're doing in your business. Look at the types of jobs that you don't want to be doing. Look at the types of customers that you don't want to be working for. Now, I know there's a balance here between doing like what I've said with the smaller jobs. Do the smaller jobs to build your reviews up. Do the smaller jobs to get cash flow moving if you haven't got big jobs to do, and mix it up. So there is a fine line here. I'm not saying everything's a waste of time, but doing favors for people that wouldn't do one for you, shit like that. Humoring conversations that you don't need to be humoring. And again, just having the boundary that when you set a task and a challenge with yourself, you're doing it and that's the end of it. And that will come with tough decisions as well. No, I can't go out to that family event sometimes because I'm doing something, and it's fucking important. So again, that discipline to set that boundary and protect that time. So once you've blocked it, protect it. Yeah. Don't let the next fucking phone call take you away from it. Okay. So again, making sure that you say no to non-essential meetings. If you don't need to go somewhere, don't go. If it can be a video call, do a video call. Again, this is something that I used to say to the guys on site, like, oh, can you come down to site and have a chat with us? Like, no, use fucking WhatsApp video. Like, what do you need to see? What do we need to drive there for an hour? So for you to fucking point at something and go, oh yeah, like just send me a fucking video or WhatsApp video me. So I was onto that years ago. I just did not like, I did not like unnecessary driving around, and use technology. There's no need half the time to go places. There's video calls. There's this, look what we're doing now. We don't need to go and meet somewhere to do this. Do you get what I mean? We haven't got time. So use technology to make sure that you are setting that boundary and saying no to the pointless things and stop doing favors for people. Because your business, if they were trying to grow a business, they won't do it for you. Just let that comment sink in for a minute. Most people aren't in a rush or have any urgency because they're not trying to achieve anything. When you are, you realize that, and it's fine. I mean, sometimes I look at people and go, I wish I could live your pace of life. I just can't, because it looks very nice to chill and be you, but I'm just not that person. So therefore, I can't have you like, come into my world, fucking in my lane. I'm trying to do 100 mile an hour here. You want to do 30 mile an hour? Fuck off over there. And again, you pick your speed and stick to your speed. So, and that sometimes you just have to say no to people. So number one is time block, and number two is then set the boundaries and protect it. Number three is cut out the energy drainers. Like I've just sort of alluded to this a little bit. Limit interactions with the time wasters, the whingers, and the tire kickers. Unfollow, mute, or distance yourself from people who distract or drain you. Surround yourself with people who challenge you or help you grow. Now, this is number three, so this is cut out the energy drainers. But there's something I want to bring home here, which I think you'll find really interesting. Like when you got people around you sometimes, and you go, someone might say, "Well, what do you think of him, and what do you think of that person, and what do you think?" I don't think anything about anybody, because there's a saying that's, "Why think when you can feel?" Yeah, so just think about that for a second. Why think when you can feel? Yeah, and this is where you've got to sort of look at everybody in your life and go, who do I not feel good about? Who do I feel, although I might think I like them, when I've been with them or when I'm with them, I fucking feel drained after it, or they just not, I just don't get much from it. These are the people that are draining the life out of you. And what you've got to do is again, I have to sometimes remove these people from my life or business, because I might think things about them that are sometimes quite positive, and I think, yeah, they're actually an all right person, but they make me feel different. I don't feel good, and it's not a good enough feeling to warrant the time with them, because they're doing something to me that I'm not thinking, but I'm feeling. And that's something that I want you to really, reflect on. And even where my relationship with you is, leading the academy and trying to help you make your business successful. You may think things about me, but what you think about me is irrelevant. It's what you feel. It's what you feel when we have conversations and afterwards. Because I know that when people come to events, they feel uplifted, they feel good, they feel energized. And that's the feeling. No one will remember what they thought when they were there. They don't sit there and go, "Oh, when I was at that event, I thought this." You don't fucking do that, do you? But what you do is you go, "I felt that, I felt like this, and I carried that with me into my life." And that's how you know when you're having a positive interaction. And that is how you know when something's right for you. And if you've got energy drainers in your life and you are around people that don't make you feel the right way, you're not going to be able to use your time effectively, because you're going to be distracted. You're going to be constantly around things that don't pull you in the right direction. And this is where efficiency comes in, because, if you don't limit your interactions with those types of people, and again, whingers, time waste, just fucking dickheads, basically. So unfollowing, muting, distancing yourself from people who distract you or drain you. Distractions, again, who are the people that just message you for no reason? All right, it might be light-hearted banter sometimes and all the rest of it, but there's a line in there where it's like, right, boring now. So you've got to be aware of these things. But if you want to be successful, you have got to be aware of these things. You can't, pick up the phone and lose an hour to someone that you think, what the fuck was that about? You can't have people in your life that you don't feel good when you've been with them, or while you're with them, because if they had the intelligence, to recognize that you were bad for them, they would fuck you off instantly. And so why are you tolerating it, basically, is what I'm saying. So number three is cut out the energy drainers. Number four is delegate or outsource anything below your pay grade. So what do we mean by this? Whether it's chasing paperwork, managing inboxes, cleaning vans, delegate it. Anything that you can give to administrator or cleaning your van. Your time is best spent quoting, selling, and delivering and growing the business. Anything else needs to be done by other people. trading your time for higher value work and not busy work. Now, I know for some people they'll be going, well, I can't afford to do that. But you can't afford not to at the same time, because I remember when I very first started business, I had a bookkeeper before I had a business, because one thing I recognized was I can't sit there doing my fucking tax returns and receipts. And that's, do you know why? Again, intuitively, I knew that I couldn't do that, because I used to watch people that said, oh, I sit on my dining table and do all my own receipts and all fucking right. I'm like, really? When you can get someone to do that for you for what, 200 quid? And you're going to sit there for how long doing that? And it just already felt like a waste of time. It just is a fucking waste of time. You don't even know what you're doing with it. So stop doing it. Like spending hours cleaning your fucking van or your car or whatever it is. Do you see what I mean? Not having control and doing stuff that is really important. It has to be, you can take your laptop. It is one for you. Let's say you clean your van out and it takes you an hour every week and whatever. This is just an example. But you can take your van to the car wash. They have a waiting room where you can sit there for half an hour, do some work, and then pay them 20, 30 quid and done, and you can drive off. But in that half an hour, you've done some work. You've done something meaningful towards your business or your life. And it's just little things like that that make a difference. Because in the week, in the year, that's a lot of time. And it's an incremental gain, but over the course of quite a long time, it adds up. And again, successful people don't clean their own fucking cars, do they? They don't clean their own house. They don't, people take it. And when I say successful people, I don't mean rich people. I don't mean people that are already there. I mean people that recognize that to get somewhere, I have to do these things. I have to move out of that mindset of I do everything, because that is absolutely going to rinse your time. And, even the hardest workers of all will get worn out if we don't delegate some things. So again, look at all the things that you're doing, especially paperwork. You need to be looking at, anything to do with cleaning your van, any shit, basically. You just need to get rid of it. Delegate it and outsource anything under your pay grade is number 4. Number 5 is create a do not disturb environment. Now, I know you can't do that when you're fitting, if you're fitting, but when you're doing your 90 minutes, you must create an environment where you are not disturbed. So you got to close the door, put the phone on do not disturb, and block off deep work time to make it clear that you're unavailable. Like I said to you before on my sheet here. So my first slot is at 6:30 in the morning, which is late because I'm usually earlier than that anyway. And I take my son to school at 8:30, which is nice because I get half an hour walking to school and back between 8:30 and 9. Then 9 o'clock come crack on again. You get about 3,000 steps in, and it's great because I have a chat with him and all the rest of it. It's quite funny. But like this morning, I was up at 4:30. So this morning, I went to bed at 9:30 last night because I was really tired. But because I usually wake up after 6 or 7 hours, I was up at 4:30 this morning. So by 8 o'clock this morning, I'd done about 3 hours work. So all the big stuff. So even if I stopped working at 9 o'clock this morning, which I didn't do, obviously I'm still here at 8 o'clock at night. But even if I stopped working at 9 o'clock this morning, I probably still got more work done that day than 95% of people because I was up early and I got it done and I'd had it planned. So I planned it the night before. I didn't know what I was going to, I didn't just wake up and go, oh, I'll get on with something because I've woke up. I knew as soon as I woke up, my laptop was next to the bed. Boom, I was straight on it. Within 10 minutes of my eye being open, I was there. And again, that's us using that time properly. And again, the do not disturb environment, if it's 5 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock, you're probably not going to get disturbed. Not by people, but you've got to make sure that you, again, I have the like noise cancelling headphones hanging there, and make my room is black, so everything dark with a blackout blind, so there's no light coming in. I'm not going to get distracted by anything outside. My phone's on do not disturb. I've got my work planned here. I've got everything plugged in. I've got 2 big screens like that. I'm cracking on. That door's closed. The family know not to come through it. They've learned the hard way with that one. But this is what I mean. It's not having the distractions, not having your phone on, not coming down and going, oh, I'll do it in 10 minutes. I'm just going to scroll for. No, you need to get on with the work and get it done. Because if you get that 90 minutes in, I just don't believe that anyone can look me straight in the eye and go, that 90 minutes, I really struggle with it. I said, if your life depended on it, if I said to you, you've got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and by 7 o'clock, you got to have done the 90-minute session. And if you don't do it, you're going to die. I reckon they'd do it, because you would, wouldn't you? Now, if you got up and did that at 5 o'clock in the morning, no one hardly needs to be leaving work, And I've said this before loads of times. You could just work a bit later. You can make it work. You can get these slots in. But when you get them in, you've got to make them and do not disturb. Because again, when you're an amateur 90-minuter, like I was when I first started, I'd sit and do the 90 minutes and spend half an hour planning what I was going to do. And then I'd spend another 20 minutes fucking around because someone would ring me. And then it's like, no, this isn't focused time, is it? This is just me pretending to make time. And then when I sit down to do it, I'm not doing it properly. So we must make it do not disturb environment. Again, your office at home, if you've got an office at home or wherever you decide to do your 90 minutes and wherever you decide to do your important work, make sure that it is not somewhere that you can be disturbed, okay? Right. Number 6 is audit your time weekly. Now, this might seem like, oh, bollocks, you won't do that, but just look back, spend 15 minutes each week reviewing where your time actually went. Look for patterns, what's productive, what's just noise. Ruthlessly cut out anything that doesn't serve your goals. Now, we've sort of already alluded to this in number 1 and 2, setting boundaries and blocking it out, and number 3, actually, cutting out the energy drainers. So auditing it on a weekly basis is not something I need to do because I'm good at it now. I don't need to sit and do that because I'm already at a point where no one's going to break my mold, to get what I mean. So I don't need to sit there and reflect on it. But while you are trying to refine this and you're trying to make the most of your time, it is something that you need to do, because until you've got it really right, it's something that you need to get better and better and better at over time. So that's the first 6 out of the way. Bonus strategy number 1, stroke number 7. So this is actually protecting your mornings. And this is sort of what I just said a minute ago. So I've sort of spoiled the surprise here a little bit. But scheduling your most important work for the first 2 to 3 hours of the day before the world starts making its demands. Mornings are where willpower and focus are at its highest. Don't waste them on admin and checking emails. You can check your fucking emails and do your receipts and do a quote later on. They are not, that is not the most important work. Making sure that you've done the stuff on your scorecard, you are clear on where you're going and you've put some effort in that day. Then you can get on with the shit that you need to do, like emails and, driving to a job or doing a survey or fitting a kitchen or bathroom or whatever it is that you're doing that day. But you can find that time in the morning, and I will not have it of anyone who says that they can't for whatever reason. You've got to make sacrifices. You just have to. So making sure that you're protecting your mornings is really, really, really important. And if, again, you've got some special situation where you can't make it an evening, just protect a slice of time for the day. Bonus strategy number 2 is stop confusing activity with achievement. Being busy isn't the same as being productive. Just because your day is full doesn't mean it's moving the business forward. Don't fall into the trap of ticking off low-value tasks to feel accomplished, like replying to every email instantly, making the van spotless, or scrolling trade forums. Ask yourself daily, is this helping me win more work, deliver better, or grow the business? If not, park it, delegate it, or ditch it. So just let that one sink in for a minute. And again, when you hear people say, oh, yeah, I'm really busy. So, yeah, it's good to be busy, and it's good to be busy, isn't it? Well, yeah, I suppose it is. But if you're making the money and living the life that you want, if you're busy, but you're not doing that, what the fuck are you busy doing? You need to stop and take a look at this here. Because what you will definitely be doing, if that's the case, is confusing activity with achievement. Activity is doing stuff, ticking boxes. Oh, yeah, I'll have a call with that person. Oh, yeah, I'll do this. Oh, yeah, so-and-so's asked me to do that, so I better do that. Oh, I'll tidy this spreadsheet up. Oh, well, just fucking about basically. The stuff that moves the needle is called achievement. When you're in business, whether you accept it or not, even as a sole trader, you are the one-man empire. So you have to be achieving things. And in your space, achieving things means making profit, because you're a fitter that earns wages. Anyone can do that. The achievement bit is doing it slightly differently and making a higher profit and giving your family the life they want. So if that achievement is not being achieved, and you're just doing activities and getting wages, you can see the difference, can't you? The achievements are the things that build your business. The 12 steps, the stuff we teach you, the stuff that I ask you to do and that say that you should do in an hour or two a day, or 5 times a week, whatever. That will be enough to get your business where you want it to be over a period of time. That is called achievement. It looks like activity, but eventually it becomes achievement, because these are things that do move the needle. Now, I know that initially they might not move the needle straight away, but listen to people like me, see people around you doing well, eventually it does. And that's where you've got to be tuned in. Whereas activity is just shit. It's not achievement, and this is something that's high on my alert list at the moment, let's just say, in terms of analyzing things like this and looking at, is that an activity or is it an achievement? Because if you're at the top of a business or near the top of a business, you need to be achieving things. You cannot be a box ticker, because you can, but you'll just earn wages. You'll just earn box ticker money. And that's not why you're here. You're here to earn proper money and earn a proper living and do something bigger and better. So it has to be in the achievement category, not the activity category. And what tradespeople do predominantly, and again, I've done it, I've always told you that I'm preaching from, I have done this, I have been that guy as well, where you think you're busy, your diary's stacked out and everyone's ringing you, so you feel like you're the center of the universe and you're dead important, but really you're not making the money that you want. So that's just activity. It's not achievement, it's activity, because anyone could do that. And what we do as tradespeople early on is we think that being busy is the badge of honor. The badge of honor is busy. That's what I need to do. But as long as I'm busy, I'm successful. But I've just confused activity with achievement, but that doesn't matter. I'll just stick to activity. You see how silly it sounds, and I know it's maybe think I'm being a bit patronizing, but we've all been there. We've all been there. Some of us are still there, and that's what I'm trying to get the ones that are still there out of, and make sure that those that are out of it don't ever confuse the two. Because again, believe it or not, you can go backwards here. And I've done it myself sometimes. I've done it. I've stopped myself and gone, "Wow, I shouldn't be doing that." Things. Not like, I'm too good for that. But you've got to know what you're supposed to be doing and what other people are supposed to be doing and where you sit in the ecosystem. Yeah, because as things shift around, your activities and achievements start to become blurred, or they can do, especially if you're in like an evolving business like ours. Tasks can start looking that were once linked to achievement now aren't, and you've got to move with it. You've got to move with it. So this is something you need to check in with yourself probably every 6 months and go, what have I been doing audit my time for last week? So in this scenario, you probably want to audit your time, not for the time thieves, but for what you've actually been doing, and look at it and go, does that move the needle? Did that move the needle? Am I moving the needle? Because business economics will catch up with you if you're not careful. If you spend too much time on activity and you ain't achieving, something's going to go wrong at some point, because that can't last forever, and it will fizzle out. So again, just because you get good at that doesn't mean you're going to stay good at it. So that's something to be really aware of, is that you need to make sure that you don't ever slip back into activity mode when you've been in achievement mode. Okay. So bonus strategy number 3 is schedule a stop date every week. I think people have mentioned this before, but it's something I used to do years ago. I'll tell you a very unhealthy story in a moment to do with this. And I'm not saying you should do it, but it's what I did. So bonus strategy number 3 is scheduling a stop day every week. So once a week, pick a day or half a day with 0 jobs, no site visits, and no distractions. So, and then what we want to do is use that time to stop, clear your head, and finish everything that you've been putting off. Any outstanding quotes, overdue follow-ups, chasing suppliers, inbox backlog, update your CRM, and anything else that's weighing on your mind. There isn't a day off, it's a reset button. And you stay until all the actions are cleared. No excuses. You make sure that your to-do list for that week is done on that day. Yeah. So what I used to do with this, and I'm not proud of this, but it is what I did. And it wasn't healthy. So my stop day was a Wednesday, right? And that meant that by Wednesday night, whatever was on my to-do list that I had finished since the last Wednesday, I had to finish it. So by Thursday morning every week, I had to be of a clear to-do list. So there was nothing outstanding. So I'd start afresh on a Thursday. I don't know why I picked a Wednesday. I can't remember. Probably because it's the middle of the week and it's an insignificant day there's not really, it's Wednesday in it. So, it's the middle of the fucking week. You're not going to pick it on a Monday because you'll want to do yourself in. Friday, you're definitely not going to want to do that. And you're not going to want to do it at the weekend. So I picked Wednesday to think, right, that's the night that I can have away. I remember at the time I was skint because this was like very early on. But when I was trying to get good at this stuff, when I was, but again, remember, I didn't have an academy. I didn't have someone like me in our industry telling me what to do specifically. I had people that I looked up to, but it was all generic business stuff and it wasn't specific KBB stuff. But I used to go to Lidl and they used to have 30p energy drinks in there. And I used to go home on a Wednesday night. We had very young children at the time. We had 2 at the time. So, I used to have tea. I used to go home, have tea, and I'd be knackered because I'd been fucking grafting all day. But it was Wednesday night. I know what I had to do. I used to go to Lidl. I used to have my tea, kiss wife and kids goodbye. Right, see you later. I would go to Lidl, pick up these energy drinks. I'd have 2 of them, sometimes 3. So for less than £1, I had my energy drinks, and I used to go back to our little studio in Wilmslow, which is still there now. Some of you have been there. It doesn't look anything like it does now. It was a bit of a shithole at the time because we hadn't had it very long. And I used to park up. I've probably got a picture of this somewhere. I'll try and find the picture of it and I'll show you sometime. I have actually got a picture of this on a Wednesday night. I took the picture one day of the desk and I'll show you sometime. I'll find it. But I used to go back to the office, write everything down that I had to do, and used to catch up on everything. So I'd neck the energy drinks on the way back to the office and stay in there sometimes till midnight, sometimes till 1 in the morning, sometimes till 2 in the morning, sometimes till 3 in the morning. And, I remember many a night. I had a Citroen Picasso at the time, a £600 Citroen Picasso. I remember £600 because it was cash the guy wanted, and that's all I had at the time. So that's the car that I bought. And that's the car that I used to drive to the office in. I used to, with me 60p energy drinks, and I used to sit there till whatever fucking time at night and go, right, I'm done. And then I'd drive home, get in bed, have 3-4 hours, maybe 5, depends, sometimes less. And then get up on Thursday. But I'd be fucked, I'd be knackered. But at least I started Thursday, we've got, right, boom, and I'd start again for the week. And, and because you're on site and it's fucking hard, it drifts again, doesn't it? So next Wednesday, same again. Not a healthy, not a healthy story, not something I'm saying you should do. You could do a healthier version of it, is what I'm saying. You could do a healthier version of it because you guys have got a lot. I didn't have this then, I didn't have this level of advice and this, the check-ins and, specific things for my success. And I didn't have a 12 steps. I didn't have all the stuff to laser focus guide me. So you can achieve a lot more in a lot shorter time. And bearing in mind, back then, we didn't have AI and we didn't have all the fucking stuff that we've got now, the tools and the technology. So, you could do a very similar thing, though. You could have, I don't know, 6 o'clock till 10 o'clock on a Wednesday night, you could do, or 7 o'clock till 11 o'clock, or 8 o'clock till 12 o'clock. Do you get what I mean? And you just have that one night where you go, right, fuck it, phone off, let's get it done, let's catch up on everything and make sure that on that fucking day I catch up. That is it. Anything that's not out, that's not finished is finished. And honestly, it made such a huge difference. It did. It's not something I'd like to do again, but if I were starting my business again, knowing what I've achieved now, I'd do it again, because I'll be like, well, kiss the wife and kids goodbye. She'd put the kids to bed 7 o'clock. She'd do whatever she would do, chill, whatever, look after the kids. It's small at the time. And I'd fuck off and do this. And it'd be like, but when you're in the trenches with a family and, you're on a team like that, then you do what you need to do. And that's why when people look at me and go, oh, Aaron, I'm fucking worried about this. And I'm like, all right, I will help you through this. But at the same time, fucking come on. How much do you care about the thing you say you care about? And I don't think sometimes, and that's just one example of an extreme that I've been to. I've been to fucking lots of extremes. That's, pushing my mind and my body in unhealthy ways to get somewhere. You don't need to do that. I did that for you. Yeah, I did that then. But the point I'm trying to make with this is the mindset of people that make it and people that don't. You either willing to do what it takes or you're not. You're willing to be uncomfortable or you're not. And sometimes it's all right managing time. It's all right doing all these things that we say tonight, but you've got to have the attitude to jump in and do the stuff as well. But hopefully tonight gives you some pointers on, if you can get yourself organized enough, how to then manage the time that you've got. Because it is really important that you don't let this one slip, because again, I know that a lot of people sort of, they worry about getting things done and, and all the rest of it, but they're just wasting time. They are just wasting time. They're maybe going to bed too late, they're getting up too late, they're not tuned into what they're supposed to be doing. And time, I know we're talking about manage it in the day, the week, the month, and all the rest of it, but time's going to go a lot quicker than you think. Time is going to go a lot quicker than you think. And there's some of you that you're older than me sat there going, no, you're fucking right. And there's some of you that are around my age or younger than me going, no, yeah, whatever. But you haven't got this time to waste, is the message. You've got to use it properly. And, if you don't manage time, time will just manage you. So keep that one in your pipe and smoke it for a little bit, please, and make sure that you reflect on this one big time. And again, the one that I want to take you back to is don't think about people. How do you feel about them? Don't have people in your life, because I tell you now, there's people in your life, in all of our lives, that are robbing time off us, fucking thieving it. And the better we get, because at some point, if you're going to be successful, at some point you'll see it for what it is. So you may as well start reflecting on it now and see it sooner rather than later. Okay. So if you've got any questions on that, let me know. Again, this is probably one of the biggest topics. If you've got any questions, stick them in the comments. We'll always answer them. But this is one of the biggest topics ever, because this is what the most highly tuned, successful people get right. This is the thing they get right. You will not ever time thieve a successful person, because you just won't. They won't let you. So if you're being time thieved, you've got to reflect on where you're at and where you want to be. So if you've got any questions, let me know. I'll hang fire for a minute. So if you've got any, you're a few seconds behind me, so we'll have to waffle for a minute. So I'm watching the comments. If you do have any questions about tonight or ask me anything, stick it in there now. Other than that, we are practically done. So if you've had a nice evening, I've enjoyed that one tonight. I feel like the few of you needed probably to hear that. And I hope that some of you, especially those of you that are partnerships and where there's two of you, that you're using that time idea, that dead stop to maybe do something different, and use the time between you to get more done. So if you go, right, I'll do this on a Tuesday night and you do that on a Wednesday night, there's a bit of power in that to make it work properly. Do you get what I mean? There really is. So again, you haven't put any comments in. I'm assuming everyone's okay. I'm going to sign off very shortly. I'm only hanging around to see if you've got any questions. I don't know what we'll be covering on the next one. I will think of it. I'm actually on holiday on the next one, and I'm a bit dubious about doing one while I'm on holiday. I don't mind doing it while I'm on holiday, but we had that disaster, didn't we, last time, where the internet didn't work. So I will make a decision on what we're going to do on the next Facebook Live in the next few days. I think we'll do it, but I'll probably be abroad. Well, I will be abroad, but the internet should be okay. But yeah, like Scott said, tonight is an eye-opener because time, you just can't waste it. If you waste it, you're fucked. You're just not. It's not going to get. It's not going to happen for you if you waste time. I've said a few times, money likes momentum, money likes speed. Money likes things done quickly. People that get things done quickly generally make more money than those that don't. That is just a fact. People that piss about don't become as successful as people that don't piss about. And again, I want to just give you one last thought here on this, because I was one of those people that pissed about for years. So don't think that I'm being condescending when I say, oh, I don't piss about and you do. That isn't what I'm saying. I was that person that fucked around and wasted years. I humoured people well longer than I should have done. And I sit here shaking my head looking at things, not because I think you're doing it or I'm disappointed with anything you're doing. I'm disappointed with what I fucking did. And that's what I'm trying to stop you from doing, like I've always said. But, take that thought with you guys, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks, all right?